Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Noble, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my generator Numeron deck profile. So I have just done a generator deck profile, but now we're doing the generator Numerons, which is super broken. Word of advice, do not play this deck with your friend who is just coming back for the first time since 2008. Do not do it. One of two things will happen. They will either throw their deck out the window or at you in frustration, or they're going to sell it on eBay and move on to Magic the Gathering, and none of us want that to happen. So don't play this deck with any of the new friends that are just coming back, or if your friend wants to have a good time, don't play this deck. This deck is disgusting in what it can do. I hate what this deck can do, but it works. It's actually really great at what it does, which is completely locking your opponent out of the game 100%, making them scoop and making you lose sleep that night. Alright, but without further ado, guys, let's get into this. If you're here and you haven't already done so, go ahead and subscribe for more deck profiles just like this one. So to start off with, we're playing triple Neuron Wall. Neuron Wall is extremely important to this deck and to the combos that we play. For those of you who don't know, Neuron Wall is just like extra terraforming. It does a lot. What it does is if you control no cards except Neuron Wall or walls, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard, activate one Numeron network directly from your hand or deck. Just super consistent in helping us find that Numeron network, just in case we don't draw into it. Absolute great card. Also has the effect where you can only use it once per turn, but it has another effect where when you take battle damage, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, in the battle phase after the damage step. So it's kind of like a battle fader. It's just not on tap declaration, it's on after you take some damage. But it's like a built-in terraforming from the hand or deck, activating directly from the deck. And I'm pretty sure you can't ash this because it activates from the deck. I don't think you add it to your hand as a special in the field. So yeah, you can't ash Numeron Wall, which is also really awesome. So triple Numeron Wall. Next up, we are playing 3 Loptier, Shadow of the Generator Bosses. This card is just amazing and definitely very pivotal to this as well. So what Loptier does, for those of you who do not know, you can only control one of him. All generated monsters you control gain 1,000 attack and defense during your opponent's turn only. So they're already beefy, but they get even beefier with this card on the field during your opponent's turn. During the main phase quick effect, you can tribute 1 generator monster and special summon a level 9 generator monster of different name from your deck. You can only use this effect once per turn, but just being able to get out big boss monsters with great effects straight from the deck is really amazing. And the fact that that's a quick effect just takes it up another level. Definitely play 3 Loptier. And this card's super cheap. It's like $1, I think, on TCG Player at the moment, which really take advantage of that if you want to play this deck. For the generators, I'm running a Mardell Generator Boss of Light. This has a really great effect of when it's summoned, if it's normal or special summon at all. So if it hits the field, you get to add any generator card from your deck to your hand. Really great, hard once per turn. Don't really think you need to play more than one of this. If you wanted to, that's fine. It does have a great search effect, but honestly, one's been pretty great. I'm running 2 hard generator boss of storms. This card is just stupid. What it does is you can tribute two generator monsters, and it's a quick effect, and negate the activation of a spell, trap card, or monster effect. So quick effect Omnigate, really, really good. It also has another great effect that basically makes your opponent maintain hand size to where once per turn, if your opponent adds a card or cards from the deck to their hand, except during the draw phase, quick effect, you can make your opponent send 1 monster from the hand or field to the graveyard, their choice. And since the generators is all about our opponent drawing cards and us gaining advantage off of that, we kind of make sure they don't gain too much advantage because we're trying to just really maintain their hand size with harm on the field. And on top of the fact that he has a quick effect Omnigate as well, do recommend you play 2 of him. It might be too much if you play 3, because like we're not really trying to like go, and like the generators aren't like the things that we're trying to really accomplish with this deck. But Har is definitely like you can get him on the field on top of the other things you're going to get into the field, and it's just going to suck even more for your opponent. But if you wanted to max him out, you could do that. Also running a Nidhogg. I'm opting to play this one. I like it because it stops the special summon of a monster. It has a quick effect where if your opponent would special summon a monster or monsters, plural, quick effect, you can tribute a generator monster, and then you can negate the summon and then destroy that monster. So I do like that, just like having this card on the field, knowing I can negate a summon of one of my opponent has. I like that. But I know some people like to play double Hela, and if you'd rather take out a Nidhogg for Hela, that would be fine. Hela is cool. What she does is she has a quick effect where you can tribute a generator monster and zombies, but generators are it's only relevant to what we're doing. And then you can target a generated monster in your graveyard and then special summon it with a different name than the tribute monster had on the field. And it's a hard once per turn, but it is really great for graveyard recursion as well. Like I said, if you want to play this at 2 instead of Nidhogg, absolutely go for it. You can do that. I'm also playing in Utgarda because this is great where you can tribute, as a quick effect, you can tribute 2 generated monsters and or rot monsters, then target 1 card on the field and you banish it. Targets, but it doesn't destroy. So it does bypass a lot of destruction protection as well. For the hand traps, we're playing a lot of hand traps. It's actually for like the normal monster package. Like Neurons only have 3. Drainers do have more, but so far this has been really optimal. I've really liked this. So for the hand trap package, we're running 3 Ash, because Ash is just amazing for any deck, especially. Also running 3 Veiler. I really do like Veiler. Veiler's become quickly one of my favorite hand traps. It just can really shut down your opponent. It does have the restriction it has to be during your opponent's main phase, but a lot of times like that's where the choke point is anyway, so that's not a huge deal most of the time. And then on top of that, it's a tuner if you were ever to need that. You don't need it in this one, but if you ever were to need that, it's there for you. I'm also running 3 of something I don't run that often. I'm running 3 Ogre. I don't know why I could say that. I don't run Ghost Ogre that much because I don't like the fact it doesn't negate, but it's just really good. Honestly, it is, because during either player's turn, when a monster on the field activates its effect, or on a spell trap card that is already face up on the field activates its effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to destroy that card. So the effect goes through, whatever they're trying to do, that does go through, but it does destroy the card. If you would rather play, what's his name, Gamma, aside from Gamma, you could do that because Gamma stops the monster effects, but I'm opting to play Ogre right now. But the hand trap package is just really flexible and kind of like what you want to do. If you're playing Nibiru, you could do that because Nibiru is crazy strong. And then for the last 3, I guess technically this belongs in the traps and me saying that. You already know what this is. But just 3 Impermanence. Impermanence is straight up amazing because it's just so versatile, and it not only negates something, it locks down that whole column too. So I mean, it's just great. Honestly, it's just really great for spells and traps. They can't play anything the rest of that column. Like I said, the hand trap package is optional. If you'd rather play more generators, you can go for it. But to me, like, even if you have to go second, if you're not able to get out Zexal Lock first turn, if you have to go second, we just have so many hand traps, it's just going to really make our opponent's life hard. I didn't want to play some more, but it's a tight deck. And you could throw a few more in there, and I'll show you where you could do that. But anyway, so that is actually it for the monsters and, the hand traps. But let's get into the spells. So to start off with, we're playing 3 boss stage. Now, I just made a generator profile like a few days ago, and since then, boss stage has skyrocketed. I got it when it was $8, but now someone bought this thing out. Now it's sitting at $40 a piece. So if you don't already have this and you're wanting to make this deck, I mean, this is an expensive deck, especially this variant of the deck. The Generator Numeron variant is expensive, but boss stage just going up to 40 a piece does not help. It sucks. Like, I'm sorry, it does suck. If you want to do proxies or something, because I mean, at this point, it has to be getting a reprint sometime soon. Because this one's fluctuated a lot. It's set at 20 for a while too, and then dropped back down to about 10, I think. But now it's at 40. But 3 boss stage is very important in this deck. And then the other field spell we play is absolutely 3 Numeron Network as well, because Numeron Network is just amazing. So let me read to you guys what this card does, because it is still a fairly new card. I'm sure most people know what it does, but just in case, during your main phase, you send a Numeron normal spell card that meets its activation or conditions from your deck, the graveyard, which is going to be Numeron Calling. This effect becomes that spell's effect when that card is activated. You can only use this effect of Numeron Network once per turn. Numeron XYZ monsters you control can activate effects without detaching materials, and that is very important. And this card is absolutely great. I do recommend you max out both of the field spells at 3 each. And then just to help us make sure we see the field spells, we're playing Terraforming as well. So for the next 3, I'm playing triple Numeron Calling. Now, you don't actually have to play triple Calling. If you wanted to run it at 2, you could do that, and you could throw another hand trap in there. And I'll show something else where you could get another playset of hand traps as well. You could definitely get away with 2 Calling, but it's new, and I don't know. I'm just still playing it at 3. I might bump it down to 2 eventually. But what it does is if a Numeron network is in your field zone and you control no monsters, special summon up to 4 Numeron Gate XYZ monsters with different names from your extra deck, but you banish them during the end phase. Also, you can only normal special summon once for the rest of this turn. So basically, we're going to activate network if you don't already have calling. Just straight up activate calling like from the deck and then just go off from there. And that's just, it's absolutely great. So next up, I'm playing 3 Call by the Grave because we do search in this deck. If you feel like you can get away with no Call by the Grave, go for it. You can do that. That's fine. But I'd like having Call by the Grave just in case they don't hit me at that really pivotal choke point, which always seems to happen. The other 2 cards that are, more flexible in my opinion is the Kuji Kiri Curse. We don't play as many Generator Package or level 9 monsters, but I do like having this as an option in case I draw into a brickier hand with more Generator monsters than I'd like to open up with, because I can just send one from my hand or face it through the graveyard, and then I can draw 2 more cards and then go into my plays from there. Now, if you didn't want to play, if you want to drop Calling down to 2 and then get rid of these 2, you could play a playset of Nibiru as well, or something else, maybe Ciphering Gamma, and just add some more hand traps into there for more disruption. But honestly, so far, I just like having the option. I know in the back of my mind, if I draw into a Generator heavy hand, especially going first, and I have Kuju Kiri Curse, I'm able to kind of unbrick that a little bit. And then for the last 3 of the deck, we are playing 3 Generator Boss Fight because it's just an amazing card. You activate Generator field spell directly from your deck or graveyard, and then your opponent draws a card, which sets off Boss Stage. So it's just a ton of ways to see Boss Stage, and then this just really helps out with the consistency of it as well. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. I feel like you already know what the extra deck is just from the title of this video. But to start off with, all right, so we're playing 2 number 1, 2 number 2, 2 number 3, and 1 number 4. All right, so why am I playing 1 number 4? Because a lot of times with calling, it's you can summon up to 4. It's not mandatory that you summon 4, up to 4. So for us to go into Zexal, we only need 3. And if you want to play around Nibiru, if you think your opponent has Nibiru, you don't want to summon the 4th one and then go into Zexal. So a lot of times, like if you're just going for that attack freaking OTK, man, yeah, you can go into number 4. But I haven't ever really wanted to go number 4 more than once. Like that's why I'm not running it. I'd rather have that spot. And it just helps play around Nibiru as well. I'm also running I'm just gonna put this right here, a number C1, the Sunya. This one's cool. It's just 4 level 2 monsters. You can also exceed summon this card by using a number 1 Numeron Gate Ekum. I think is how you say it. You control material and you transfer the materials of this card, but it's probably not going to have material. If this card is XYZ summon, you banish all monsters on the field. Once per turn during your next semi-phase after this card was banished, you can special summon this banished card. Then, if Numeron network is in your field zone, you inflict damage to your opponent equal to the combined attack of all banished Exceed monsters. So this could actually deal a lot of damage, like really quick. But it's just kind of an alternative because most of the time this is not the play you're going to be trying to go for, but it's there in case you need it. And of course, we're playing Zexal. Absolute lock. Absolutely hate this card. It's just so broken, but hey, it's here, so we're going to utilize it. 3 number Exceed monsters with the same rank. You can also exceed some of this card by discarding a Rake Up magic spell, which that doesn't apply to us at all. This card's Exceed Summon cannot be negated. When Exceed Summon, your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated. It gains 1,000 attack and defense for each XYZ material attached to it. Once per opponent's turn, quick effect. You can detach 1 material from this card. Your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated this turn. So absolutely easy to go into this card now with just like Neuron Network and Calling, just being able to bring out these bad boys, go into Zexal, and then just locking your opponent out. And then the next turn, more than likely, you're going to be able to go not only hit your opponent with Zexal, but you're going to be able to hit your opponent with True King, because that has happened so many times. I've opened up with Zexal and the next turn going to True Kings, and I mean, if you do it at that point, your opponent needs to scoop, honestly, because at that point, and then get Horror out in the field. Like, seriously, man, like Zexal, VFD, and Horror, bro, scoop. GG's, man, GG's. Like, it's sickening. Honestly, I hate decks like this, but dude, this thing is crazy. And we all know what True King does. For those of you who don't know, Once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach a material, and then you declare an attribute. This turn, all face-up monsters on the field become that attribute. Also, all monsters in your opponent's possession with that attribute cannot activate their effects. So, like, just straight locks, man. Straight locks. Seriously. I'm also playing a Jormungandr because it's a generator deck, and honestly, I'd feel bad if I wasn't playing Jormungandr. So I threw him in here as well. You could swap him out for something else if you'd rather do that. A few links. I'm also playing an Infinitrack Fortress Megaclops. This card, I bought this at $8, like I think it was like a week and a half ago, and since then this got bought out. Now this is sitting at $30 on TCG Player. So, I mean, that sucks. It's unfortunate, but it's super easy to go into in this deck. It's just 3 Exceed monsters. It's a Link 3, 4,000 attack. It's unaffected by other monster effects except other Exceed monsters. It can't be destroyed by battle except with Exceed monsters. You can target an Exceed monster in your graveyard and one card your opponent controls. You special summon your monster from the graveyard, and then you attach your opponent's monster to it as material. Absolutely crazy. And then for the rest of the turn, it just halves any damage your opponent takes. Like, super small price to pay for such a great effect. Also, for the last ones, just playing an Access Code Talker, just straight versatility, and then an Appaloosa, because this is definitely easy to go into as well. Calling is just like a 1-card Appaloosa at this point, so like it's just great. That's actually it for the deck, guys. It's not like it's not super complicated. It's not a ton to really explain. It's a deck like because you need to have like no monsters, and a lot of times to activate Calling and to be able to resolve all that. And a lot of times with generators, you're just going to activate boss stage pass anyways. So, like, it's just really helpful just to be able to go into Tope Zexal, and then next turn be able to go into VFD if your opponent's like sitting there, all right, maybe next turn I can maybe out that Zexal. Nah, bruh, now you got a True Kings to deal with. And on top of that, hey, there's a horror on the field with the Omnigate. And guess what? You also have to maintain hand size. It's just not a fun time. Like I said, don't play this with people you actually enjoy playing with. Don't play this with people they're just coming back from the game for a long time. Don't do it. But give this deck a shot. It is pricey. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's pricey. You don't have to play these things. Like, you don't. Like, all these cards are expensive at this point. Like, you don't have to do it. Zexal, unless it's gone up now, but it was cheap like a week ago. And the Numeron package is pretty cheap as well. I think Network is sitting at 12. Calling, I don't know where Calling's at. I think it's also around the same. But like I said, Boss Stage is sitting at like $40 a piece, so that does suck. But yeah, guys, that is it for the deck profile. Thanks for watching. Like I said earlier, if you're here and you haven't already done so, go ahead and subscribe. I'd absolutely love that. Hit the bell so you become part of the notification team so you get notifications for deck profiles just like this one. And if you liked it, hey, give it a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate that. Thanks for watching. As always, I'll see you in the next video.